Hi there. Today I thought I would give you a little tour of the space where I work. It's a little corner of our bedroom and I share office space with my husband over here, but this is my little creativity area. And I thought I'd give you a teeny walkthrough of what I have here and how I use it to make my art. So first I have my desk area. This is the area where I work. I have a cutting mat just right there that fits here if I need to do any cutting. I have a small ironing mat that fits here if I need to iron, like when I'm making book cloth or anything like that. My computer sits here. And back here is some of the books in my ecosystem. This is a book that I recently finished making that doesn't have a home yet. Water to drink, always sitting precariously next to water to paint with. Sometimes there's even a third hot drink here. I love this little palette. It is by Sylvan Clay Works and it sits really nicely around my water glass. But because of these little lip brushes and pens don't roll off of it, so I tend to leave it here as a little pen holder. This is a little catch-all, currently has thread and needle in it, but I also use it if I need to pour out glue or something like that to use with a brush. Study Bible, notebook, other version of a Bible. These are all the pens and highlighters that I tend to use in my Bible journaling. This is kind of my overflow space. So the planner lives here. Right now it's papers that I'm currently staining and dyeing. Tissues, there's a speaker back there if needed. Mostly I work on headphones because it is a shared space with my husband. This is my little makeshift bookcase. It is made out of those kind of $10 apple crates you can get from Home Depot or other hardware stores. At the bottom is some extra books, heavy books for weighing down things. These are extra, 2 boxes of extra like backup supplies, extra ink, glue sticks, pens, things like that. This is an enamel tray that I use for when I'm staining papers. Hemi jelly gouache. Don't use that very often. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. Another palette. This is my old watercolor palette. A basket mostly of tape, but spray paint and I think a glue or stamp in that box. These are some books that I've made. My bin of smaller sized ephemera, books that I've thrifted. These are kind of great for lining the inside covers of art journals because they're like a faux vintage papers. That's a great little set that I enjoy having. And then I have quite a lot of boxes like this that are for all of my scraps and bits that are maybe too small for that other tray, big enough that are worth keeping. That's another box of those little bits. This is another box of little bits. This one was more to be able to grab to travel with because it's so thin. This is a box, like it says, of fussy cut painted florals. Oh, I crossed off painted because it's now just all kinds. So some of my own illustrations, some things from magazines, painted flowers that I've done. Kind of keep those safe. This is a kit from Illustrated Faith that I had brought for us for when we were traveling on our move, and I kind of just leave it there. I pull from it sometimes, but it's more a nice grab and go for traveling. I have large watercolor palette that's fairly empty. I can get it open with one hand. Fairly empty because currently I have most of my pans in my small palette on my art cart. I was traveling with the small palette, but I also find it's easier to use the small palette at my desk because it's fairly small. One trick I have found is I bought these sticky magnet sheets and I stick them to the bottom of my pans because sometimes the pans are just a little loose in here. And then I try to have a swatch card. Obviously this card does not match up with what's in here, but they're longing to be filled with more colors. But I'm actually quite happy working with my limited palette that I currently have. This is my smaller tin. It's fully loaded, but it is full of the colors that I currently love to use. I just got this new one, and so another one had to be traded out for it. And I might have to go back to the bigger one because there are pieces or colors in that other that I would like to use. This basket holds ephemera and scrap paper that's bigger. This bin holds stickers that I printed myself, and then these are all ephemera by topic. They're all little file folders that I've made that hold themed ephemera. These are all of my papers for overflow painting around the edges. I slip them in between pages of my art journals or whatever I might be working on, or for glue or what have you. Small cutting mat. Up here is books that are ready to be cut up or repurposed. These are old text blocks. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with those. If you have any ideas when you thrift a book and you use the cover to build an art journal, what do you do with your text blocks? Let me know. And my current art journal I'm working in, and one of my recent makes. Microphone for voiceovers. Lighting. This is my canvas light. I do love it. It does dimming, 3 different tones of light, holds your phone. It's great. And then this is my art cart. This is the workhorse right now for most of my supplies. I do have more supplies in our storage unit, but because we are not in a full home, we're just in a small apartment right now, this is what I'm using. And those other supplies will have to wait until I have a bigger studio space. So we will do a little walkthrough of the 3 shelves on here, plus the things that are hanging on it. I've just recently attached this heat gun on here. This is not my preferred heat gun. I think it's a Ranger. I actually can't remember now. It's pink. The other one that I have is pink. And this is a very short cord, which is really annoying. So I have to have an extension cord here all the time. But we'll start at the top. Back here, I keep stencils and my grid ruler. In this bin is tools like awls, scissors, toothbrush for flicking paint, what else? Palette knives, those kinds of things. And then just regular pencils and pens and some black markers that are not fine liners. Then I have my good watercolor brushes. I keep them separate because I don't let acrylic paints or mediums or anything touch these. They're just for watercolor so that they don't get gunked up at all and they stay really nice. These are my acrylic and gouache and matte medium brushes. I still try to take care of my brushes. So I'm not saying that I let these ones get gunked up, but these are the ones that can touch acrylic. Then I have fine liners in black and white, some glue. These are my solid markers, which are pretty fun to use. They smell really bad because they have kind of an alcohol base to them, but the smell dissipates pretty quickly. I have pencil crayons here. These are medium length, small, and then full size, because it's really easy to lose the two shorter sizes in amongst the big ones. This is all acrylic gouache, Holbein acrylic gouache, and I do love those, and I mark the tops of my lids so that I can easily find my colors. In here is kind of odds and ends. So I have Stabilo Alls, a few Stabilo Woodies, which are water soluble, pencils, really thick. This is, what is this? The Bold 207 Signo, which I love. And China markers, graphite pencils, odds and ends, eraser, tape, pencil sharpener, a water spray bottle, and an alcohol spray bottle for doing different techniques with paint. And then these are a little bit of stamps, stamp pads, cling stamps, wooden stamps, and I don't know what those things are called, little sponges for working with the stamps. On the second shelf here is what are those? Acrylic gouache by Liquitex, I think. Yes, acrylic gouache by Liquitex. Some Distress sprays, fluid acrylics down the side here, acrylic inks here, my watercolor palette, some Stabilo Woody water soluble pencils, and high flow acrylics. I used to always love the Liquitex acrylics, and they do have their purpose, but I find the color load, maybe it's just the opacity, I'm not sure. I prefer these Amsterdam ones, and I don't know, I just really like them. And then I keep bulldog clips stuck on this shelf as well for using when I'm bookbinding or holding open journals or whatever the case may be. Down here is all my mediums. So I have modeling paste, gesso, glues, matte medium, fluid medium, what else? Heavy gel matte medium, catalyst wedge, baby wipes, glue stick, my washi tape, which I took off all of my rolls and rolled onto these cards, and I am so happy that I did. You can just grab one and toss it in your to-go art bag if you're doing art on the go. They take up way less space than a ton of rolls, and I was able to curate my cards to have favorites grouped together or same lines of tape. I have all of my old rolls here, so you can see how many rolls got condensed down to just that. And I don't really know what to do with them. They're such cool things that I can't toss them, but I think I'm gonna have to. I have the Artex acrylic paint markers down there. And then if we spin the cart around, I have my Posca paint markers down there, and then these are odds and ends that are somewhat lesser used. My metallic Fine Tech watercolors, Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons, tacky glue. These, I often forget about these. I need to use them more. The Tim Holtz collage paper. It's like a tissue paper that's all different themes. Extra fine liners, sandpaper. And hanging back here, I have glasses and or lens cleaner, a rag. This is a pen roll that I just have here for if packing up to go anywhere. And that's the art cart. Editing Reverb here, I realized I did not show these two little things that live under my desk. This is my return bin, I call it. it is where I put all the scraps and bits if I'm making an art journal or what have you in here, and then at another time I'll go and put everything back in its place. I have tools like my heat gun, a crocodile. These are more papers that are ready to be put into a journal. This is a new travel case that I just got. I haven't even really looked at it yet. And then this is my bookbinding bin. So it is all of my supplies for bookbinding: PVA glue, threads, needles, elastic, book tape. Oops, sorry, focus. And book cloth. It's already prepped and ready to be turned into books.